Yo, what do you do, guys? It is your boy, Liamuki here, back to you with another new chapter of The Red King Hero. I have to say, thank you all for the support for that of the, for the prologue chapter. I really appreciate it. It was mainly just to set up things for that of Izuku and what's to come for him in the coming of years as the newest king of Homra in the Red Clan. So yeah. Any rate, let's go through that. I have a quick recap just in case. In this timeline, quirks still happen and everything. However, unlike that of the Dark Ages that took like years to set everything, mainly due to All for One, powerful individuals were born and created, otherwise known as the Kings. As with their existence, humanity began to go back to what it used to be. But with no much of civil unrest unneeded, the kings began to fight amongst themselves. Outside of the Silver and Gold King, the Color Kings, on the other hand, enjoyed the battle, while still doing their duties of keeping society all across the world in check, but mainly in Japan though. However, both the Red and Blue King passed away, leaving that of their successors unprepared and in danger from the vultures that come for them. And Izuku, grandson of the former third king of the Red Clan and of Homra, Makoto Sasaki, has his own work cut out for him as well. And with allies leaving Homra, friends that he used to saw as models leaving him too, and only having that of a small majority of people willing to fight by his side. But even with all of that, Izuku is ready for what's to come. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 1, Red King Deku. Years have now gone by since Izuku has now become the Red King. Since the first year when he became the king and his grandfather's passing, villains were on that of the rampage, doing whatever they wish, how they wish, whenever they feel like it. Sure, heroes were able to keep many of them at bay as well, but without Makoto being around in the underworld to keep them in check, that's when they began to strike at the public. But All Might soon made his triumphant return as well, taking down as many villains as he can, but even with that of the symbol of peace, helping out civilians and keeping them safe. But even with All Might there, those in that of the Red King territories were making their moves, the villains wanting to do whatever they wish, how they wish it. But little did they know, their freedom would be tested here for the next few years. 3 years after the passing of the torch, currently in that of an abandoned warehouse, currently listening to that of some music, lies that of a young man that everyone knows all too well. Baggy white t-shirt with that of, baggy shorts after all as well. And over his hair, having that of a, beanie over his head. And on his side, a skateboard. While listening to music, he couldn't help but see that of a truck coming by over on that of the abandoned warehouse. With it, as that truck soon backs up and opens up, showing that of several captured young women and kids. Seeing this, he couldn't help but growl, saying, "Damn it all, looks like the boss was right." Seriously. If anything, within soon getting that of a phone call, before realizing it wasn't just me being right, you should also thank Jin too. Saying, fuck, fine, I'll basically say he's right too. Damn it, Izuku. And then Izuku couldn't help but laugh over the phone, saying, "So, they just came in saying, yeah, just a new batshit. Seriously, these guys really are full of themselves that they can start doing trafficking like this in our territory." Well, they have been since, Then Yata feeling sad, saying, "Yeah, don't worry, you'll live up to the old man's ideas too. Trust me." So, how are we gonna do this? Saying, "You know what to do, Yata. Go for it." Then, hearing that, Yata couldn't help but have that of malicious and terrifying grin on his face, saying, "Oh yeah." As Yada hangs up, before then putting his phone in his pocket, bringing up his skateboard to that of his side, then getting on it as he rolls down that of the building. But as he does, that's when red like flames begin to come off of his skateboard as he begins to ride down that of the building, doing tricks and everything, weaving as well, before then jumping off the building, creating that of a crack in that of the rubble, before then doing that of multiple spins into that of the top of the roof of the abandoned building. Within soon seeing that of several cages and a few guys basically pushing women and children into those cages as well. As then everybody is shocked at seeing Yata. As for Yada, he couldn't help but basically have that of a grin appear in utter joy before continually spinning and then sending that of a burst of flames, knocking back everybody, mainly that of the villains, with many of them completely and utterly shocked. However, Yata not giving them any chance to breathe, rushing towards them, as then the flames continue to roll down that of his wheels before jumping up in the air, using that of a 180 spin, knocking into that of another villain before going to that of another one, doing another skate trick before then knocking him back in the face, knocking another villain with a skateboard in the face, before then with having his hands on the ground, spinning around, sending that of another blare of flames towards everybody, knocking those villains even more, as some of them begin to use that of their quirks, some having that of projectile quirks, and mainly running from that of fire quirks, water quirks, and some using that of bones using that of their own bones, shooting them out like that of weapons, and even that of, well, weird stuff too. But no matter what they do, the red-like aura-like flames continue to consume everywhere from that of Yada's spin, before then get no longer spinning, flying up into the air, before then landing back on his board, within saying, "You bastards have some nerve basically doing this shit on that Red Clan territory. And for that, you'll be paying with that of your lives or with that of your entire body being broken in every way possible. You'll be wishing that the pros were here instead of us." Over that of the raptors in the building lies that of a villain with that of multiple support gears, as it looks like he's wearing that of an exosuit, but mainly over that of his shoulders and arms, while having that of a visor that makes him look quite malicious in a way. All you can basically see is his eyes through that of the visor, though. Looks like the rumors are true. Looks like Homra is back in business. Don't matter. If one of them is only basically doing this shit, then we have enough time to escape. Within, soon seeing one of his underlings heading towards him, saying, "Grab as many of the kids and girls as you can. Get them back on the truck. We're not going to let this gold mine of ours basically go out so easily." Within, hearing this, the underling can help and say, "Yes, sir." As that of the pretty skittish guy runs off, that's when he couldn't help but say, "Do what you want, you little skateboarding freak. We'll handle. It's not like you're gonna do much. As long as we have as many girls we can continue still raking this gold mine of." Before he could finish, outside an explosion happens. Within, wondering what just happened, as one of them rushing back into that of the building, as he looks like he's completely and utterly covered in smoke and flames. Within, him screaming out, "The truck's been destroyed! All of the trucks have been destroyed!" As the villain couldn't help but say, "What? How?" Entering in that of the warehouse lies that of several key individuals. Walking into the warehouse through the flames lies that of a man that we all know well too much, with that of the blonde hair, sunglasses, and having some cigarettes and always. Izumo, as his flames begin to erupt around that of his right hand, while also lighting up his cigarette at the same time. Right beside him is that of Scarlet. However, instead of wearing a nun outfit, she wears that of a pretty tight red dress that basically pronounced that of her chest quite a bit, while also wearing that of tight black legging pants and that of boots that go all the way up to that of her to her knees actually. And in her right hand is basically that of a sword encoded in flames. However, it looks like that of not your typical average sword though. So, this is what is happening. I really gotta thank you about this again, Gene. Entering from the flames is that of a man wearing an all-black uniform with that of multiple stripes on it, and also his mask having that of a layer of white and black. On that of the bottom layer is white, and the top layer is black, with only that of his eyes saying, "Hey, I'm doing my job for that of the boss man, right? It's only right that I help out, and I'm not gonna screw it up too." So, within somebody saying, "Please shut up, Baiwara, you're irritating me." Within, right beside him, being that of a young woman, being that of Sakiko or Arrow, but wearing that of an all-white uniform, somewhat close to that of a clergy woman actually, before bringing down that of her hood, which shows that of a Arrow, being that of her code namesake. Honestly, you're being way too mean, Sai-chan, or I should say Arrow. Guys did his job right, and besides, it would take us literally weeks to find this out. Jin made us find this place out for days. Within hearing that, everybody's completely and utterly freaked out, as the one who spoke being out of a girl that Izuku knows all too well. However, she wears that of a full-on, somewhat biker girl attire, and you would think that she looks like at least in that of 16 or 17, but technically she's way younger than that, which shows that puberty is hitting her like a truck. And in her hands is that of a black and golden sword, and in her left hand being that of a shield with multiple spikes, within the center showing that of a skull, but engraved into the center being that of Homra's Sons of Caledon. Yeah, seems like it. And right beside, in that of the center, lies that of a young man, almost looking like he's at least a high schooler, but is actually a junior high student, with that of long baggy blue pants, a baggy that of a baggy white t-shirt, but what has that of the word shirt on it. On his hands having that of black and red and white fighting gloves, and getting a better appearance as this being Izuku Midoriya, but a lot more different from typical Izuku Midoriya, as he has that on his left ear. He has that of a pierced earring with the symbol of Homra on it, and his hair being a lot more wild and spiky, with also being tried to slid it back, but unfortunately it's still pretty wild even while the hair is slicked back. Even though his face still shows that he looks like that of a cinnamon roll, but his eyes say otherwise. These are the eyes of somebody who's not afraid to get his hands bloody. As the villain can help but say, "Shit, almost half of Homura is here, damn it!" Oh, luckily, I don't see that of the other members, so we may be able to get out of here easily. Within, soon, coming right behind, as multiple bodies being sent flying towards that of the villain, saying, "Oh, so you're the villain. Oh crap, Izuku, I totally forgot what Izuku said, that your name was. Oh well, doesn't matter. It's not like it's gonna matter when you're basically a bloody smear on the ground." Within, seeing out of the woman, as she kind of had that of a somewhat bored and not even caring tone to her, as she has that of a black long sleeve sweater that kind of shows quite a bit of her curves, tight blue jeans that also shows a bit of her curves, but on that of her side, having that of a golden belt, brown boots, and she has that of a somewhat plain looking face, but what stands out is that of her large rimmed glasses and that of her spiky short black hair. And what really stands out is that in her hands, she has that of a freaking weird ass vacuum cleaner with then saying, how the hell did you? Saying, I jumped out of the roof. Yaga really makes an entrance for himself. Within, soon, Izuku comes in saying, I'm gonna give you guys at least that of one option. For any of you working for that of your boss, Varys, I'm giving you one option. Either surrender now to the cops that are going to be showing up here in at least the next 10 minutes, or get beaten to death by us. Frankly, I think all those who should surrender instead of being beaten by us is the better option. But I'll let you know, it's only your choice. Within hearing this, the villain, otherwise known as Varys, couldn't help but say, damn it all. Like hell, I'm gonna let this good job run out for me. Any of you bastards basically surrender, I'll kill you myself. There are only a few of them. Kill them now. Within, all of the villains, hearing the words of their boss, rush towards that of Izuku and his gang. Within saying, I gave them one option. Within saying, Homra, wipe them out and save the hostages. With all of them scream out, yes, my king, as they all rush into that of the building. With Yagura still basically knocking away foes without even breaking a sweat. Before then, a blast of fire basically gets sent towards that of the villains, as Izumo sending that blast. Before then, using that of his left hand to knock back that of another villain that was about to stab him, sending another wave of fire that basically engulfs his head, burnt as he screams in that of agony, as he's still basically smoking a cigarette while doing the same thing. Before then, sending that of another, using both his hands, sends that of a huge geyser of flames towards all of them. Within, Izumo couldn't help but basically look around saying, no matter where you aim at me, I'll always know where you're at. Sending that of burst of fireballs towards all of them without even, basically looking. The reason doing is because of his quirk. Izumo's quirk, 180. His quirk basically allows him to see almost all around him no matter what, even without having to look. The reason being his sunglasses. His sunglasses acts as that of a detector that allows him to have eyes in the back of his head. Just remove his glasses and his quirk is deactivated. But it's the reason why he never takes them off in the first place. No matter if it's night or day, he can see almost everything coming his way, or that of his allies' way as well. Sending another burst of flames towards that of somebody that was going to hit that of Yagura. But then saying, I had that. Saying, sure you did. I told you, I had it. Within, Yagura basically sending another pulse of his aura towards everywhere around him, that even the ground around him begins to crack. The only thing that stays intact is his skateboard and his clothes after all. Within saying, right, you had. I'll take care of the rest over here. Then saying, yeah, you better. Misaki Yata, quirk rage boost. The angry that Yata gets, the more powerful his strength, defense, and speed becomes. However, rashness and basically common sense all decrease while his quirk is activated. So he can basically send that of a friend from foe to foe after all. The only thing that keeps him, add that with his aura, his power is now basically amplified 100 times more. Luckily, Izuku can turn off his aura at any chance he gets just by, touching him, which Yata always tries to keep a reminder of. That's why he only uses his quirk sparingly, or if he's alone after all, which is most of the time. Scarlet basically slices through that of other villains as well. Some even getting close. However, with that of a flick of her wrist, her sword begins to extend and begin turning into that of a whip sword. As that of the bladed whip begins to wrap around the villains before burning them, as her aura-like flames begin to consume them. Before then, sending out of the corpse to that of more people. At the same time, it creates out of a chain reaction of flames burning each and every one of them as they get knocked back down from one to another. Bringing her blade back to her, she couldn't help but smirk, saying, I can't believe it. You figure out that we're all gone for at least a good few years. You think you can basically do what you wish? Not gonna happen. I won't lie, a few of you here are cuties, but not interested in basically scumbags. Before then, sending that of another burst of flames from out of her whip sword, as the flames begin to extend, creating that of a fissure of flames. And she couldn't help but giggle at that of the carnage that she's causing. Scarlet Yor, quirkless. As a few villains begin to use out of projectile quirks to try and hit everybody else, that's when an arrow of flames begin to basically stab right through them, with more and more arrow flames basically piercing their bodies, burning their organs from the inside out. As currently right now, Arrow is on that of a vantage point within, as she's basically sniping each and every one of her targets now without even breaking a sweat. Then saying, all in the name of my king, all in the name of Izuku Midoriya. All those who disrespect my king die by my hands. No ifs or buts about it. Sending another fiery arrow towards another villain, burning him instantly. Sakiko Nijimaya, quirk, lock on. She's able to lock on to any target no matter what. She never misses no matter what, no matter where they are, as long as she can see them, far away or up close. Add that with her aura ability to basically create that of flames, turning them into that of flaming arrows. Her quirk alongside her aura are the perfect match for one another. While seeing the carnage basically going out, many kids are basically scared while being comforted by that of the women. Before then, seeing that of Jin, or rather, as we all know him, or soon to know him as, Twice. Basically creates that of a fiery aura around his fist. Before then, basically grabs the cages and rips the doors off the handles, and not just him, another Twice, and another Twice basically rips all of the doors off the cages, saying, "Come with us, ladies and children. We'll keep you all safe properly." Within, one of them say, "But aren't you villains?" Saying, "Oh, pish posh. Just because we seem like the bad guys and killing them doesn't mean that we are the bad guys. Trust us." With another Twice clone saying, "That's not helping, dumbass." Deflating on what his other self said, saying, "Oh, right. Probably not." Within, soon clear his throat, saying, "Look, all the same, we're here to help you out, and we want to get you all back to your families and back to your normal lives. If any of you could, do any of you know what happened to any kids that were already taken away? Any planners or something like that? The guy up there basically monopolizing stuff?" Within, all of them were still scared. Before then, a woman with that of long reddish hair, with multiple marks on her body, couldn't help but say, I've heard a few times. It should be in their office, actually." Within saying, "Oh, right, thanks." Any rate, within creating more and more clones of himself, saying, "We'll get you out of here properly, and make sure that you don't get in the crossfire." Scout's honor on that of the Red King, Jin Obayawara, otherwise known as Twice. And main timeline, he would be a villain for the League of Villains. But in this, he was founded by Izuku and given a place to live. place that he could call home, using his quirk not for selfish means to survive, but a place where he can help those in need just like him, abandoned by society. Leading the children and the girls outside of the building while making sure not to get caught up in the crossfire. One of the villains were about to saw this and was trying to stop Twice, his clone, before then getting slashed but beneath him, splitting him in two as this being from Caesar, with then blocking another strike from that of her for her shield, before then sliding down, spinning her shield to basically slice off the legs before being stabbed in the heart, and as the body falls to the ground. But then, soon seeing that of Izuku, sending that of multiple villains flying without even landing a hit, as his aura alone is basically sending everybody flying that get anywhere near him. His allies see this and knows that he means business. But then, soon, as for the villain called Varys, he sends that of gas towards the girl that was trying to hit him with that of the vacuum, actually. However, using that of the vacuum to basically suck the gas up into that of it. Endlessly within, say, "You got to be kidding me! How the hell did they know about my damn quirk?" Within, the girl can up and say, "Oh, it's because our boss did research on you alongside that of Jin. Jin may have found your base, but the boss always does his research on our targets to make sure that they're worth either killing or basically either recruiting. And seeing that you're basically not even worth recruiting at all, given how much of a scumbag you are, I guess it kind of makes sense. So, I'm just going to continue draining your quirk and then allowing the boss to basically obliterate you. How does that sound? Saying, "Oh, fuck you, you piece of little shit! Who the hell do you think you are, girl?" With then saying, "Oh, please let me introduce myself then. My name is Suzuka Hanano, quirk vacuum." Basically, she's able to create a vacuum, and she calls it Blinky. Unlike that of other normal vacuums, this vacuum can literally suck up anything from stains to blood to bodies, even that of toxic gas. Hell, give her enough time, and she can possibly even absorb radiation. And once it's all done, she can basically make it go disappear, where whatever was sucked in also disappears along with it. However, if she overuses the vacuum, it overuses that of her own stamina and energy as well. Add that with her aura abilities from being a member of the Red Clan, and that stamina limit is no more. So that's my name, and I'm just here to basically stall you for time. Saying, "Stall me for time? Like hell I'll let you!" Before then, the entire way begins to crumble. Within, seeing out of the aura from that of Izuku. Within, saying, "You've got to be shitting me!" Saying, and there's the boss. "I'll let my king handle you. Bye bye." As soon as she says that, she soon jumps over that of the guardrail. Within, she lands on that of a villain, using that of her vacuum cleaner to basically smash the guy's head in and use it as a landing spring, before taking on more and more villains by bashing their heads in or basically beating them with the vacuum cleaner, known as Blinky. Then, Caesar sees that of Suzuka, saying, looks like she used enough time to give Izuku the chance. Before then, flames begin to erupt around Caesar, around that of her shield, defending herself. Before then, rushing towards them and stabbing another villain in the chest. But then Caesar can up and say, "Easy peasy, nothing to get in the way for my king. Caesar King, quirkless. Caesar has always been a skilled fighter, even without a quirk. Add that with that of her abilities to use that of a sword and shield, and she's literally unstoppable with her aura power too. But instead of using her aura to attack, she uses her aura to defend instead, to be the perfect shield for her king. As that of the crosswalk is starting to fall, within say, "Screw this," is then he uses that of his gas to propel himself forward, using his, well, support gear suit as that of the as his amplifier. However, Izuku saying, "Oh no, you don't," as his aura continues to consume. Before then, condensing it into that of his right arm. Before then, waiting for the perfect opportunity, with all of his might, he soon sends his fist flying, saying, "Smash!" As then, while he's basically flying, he's soon hit by that of the reddish aura fist, and then slamming to the ground fully by that of the blow. As Verse, feeling the pain and struggling, removes out of his visor-like mask, seeing out of his face, which is pretty, well, bland and ugly actually, with only a few strands of his blonde hair over that of his suit. With then, Izuku goes over to him saying, wait, hold up. I understand I've done some pretty bad things on the Red King territory, and I know that you guys don't like people basically doing whatever the hell you guys want, but how about this? I bring you on all the proceeds. Like, for example, I make tons of money off of gigs like this. If anything, this would be perfect for people like you. I'll give you like a cut of all the action of all the girls and kids I sail all across Japan and possibly in the world as well. So how is it? I know money is within. Soon, without warning, Izuku basically crushes the guy's arm, even through that of with even the metal in the suit basically clashing with that of his muscles and bones, as he basically screams in agony and pain from that of from the crunching sound. You got a lot of nerve thinking that I want money from you, and you begging for your life. You really are scum of the earth. I was thinking about leaving you alive for your younger brother. Due to the information I gained, you're doing all of this to provide for him, give him a life outside of what the world has, given your quirks. Both of you have gas quirks. Being villainous to society, I get that. However, instead of basically being a better example for your brother, but instead you chose to be a horrible example, a bad example where you basically sell innocent kids and women. So many people have lost their families. You have destroyed them because of your damn business. You got a lot of nerve for trying to think that you can basically bargain. But then, guys saying, "Fuck you! You have no idea. Innocent kids and women? Screw that. Many of those women and kids are basically from stuck-up and arrogant-ass families. They have no idea what it's like to suffer, what it's like to struggle, what it's like to be labeled a villain without even giving a chance to prove yourself. This is the society we live in, Your Majesty. The society where people like us have to do horrible things to survive. I don't give a shit if I ruin other people's families or lives. As long as I can live and survive, that's all that matters. And as long as I have my little brother, that's all I could care for. So go ahead, do your worst. Like hell, I'm going to be lectured by somebody who doesn't know how the world works. And if I've heard the rumors, you're basically a quirkless freak anyway. I'm lucky to have a quirk instead of being somebody like you defect." Within hearing all this, everybody was about to basically jump Varys. Within, soon, Izuku stopped saying, "Just let you know, this is what you wanted. And besides, I was going to kill you anyway. But I will say this, and unless your brother has done the same shit that you've done, he won't be on my shit list." Within hearing that say, "Wait, what did you?" Before, without question, in that of a blinding speed and a burst of pure red energy, Versus' head was turned into nothing but a bloody pulp on the ground. Like literally nothing from bone, muscle, or brain. Nothing is left but his body. Within saying, "So, Jin," within saying, "Radio, boss? What did you find that of the shipping board?" Saying, "Right here." As then giving him that of multiple papers, saying, "All of these are basically where everybody was sent, all the way from that of 3 months back." Saying, "Seriously? This is perfect. We can give this to that of the cops and the heroes too. they'll do what they can, but knowing them, they'll probably basically drag their feet. Hopefully, some of these people will be saved in a nick of time. As for everybody else, I'm aware that everybody can't be saved, which is a shame. Within, soon, Caesar places her hand on Izuku's right shoulder. Within, Izuku holding his hand to hers, before then saying, "So, we should all get going. Jin, word of the hostages are already on their way, and I've already heard that a couple of pros are on their way too. So we better skedaddle." Saying, right. Let's get going, guys. As they saying, yes. With all of them rushing out, and then, in the very distance, showing that a few other figures, and that's a blue coat saying, "Roger, Red King is already on the move. For the next, it seems like he's been working quite hard." Saying, what our orders should do. Should we apprehend them? Saying, "No, let them be for now. I told them this treaty will last until for the next 3 years. After all, we still have at least a month left before everything goes into start. Just continue to observe them. After this month is over, that's when we strike." Saying, "Yes, yes, Commander." With that, over the line being that of Rensu, the current king of the Blue Kings, Izuku Midoriya. I already knew that you were already quite the bright young man those 3 years ago when you were just a 10-year-old kid. But only at the age of 13, you've already cleaned up half of the streets in that of your territory. I'm surprised that All For One hasn't made his move yet. Which means the rumors are true. The king of the underworld is truly weakened by his fight with All Might. And if I've seen, given that without the former Red King's absence and the villains acting so much, he's also weakened from his fight with All For One. Interesting indeed. As he turns around and looking at that of multiple monitors behind him, seeing that of multiple pros, news outlets, and everything else, as he can up and say, society is built on that of All Might. All Might is the one pillar basically keeping everything afloat. However, once he's shown that he's weakened, that's where Sector 4 comes in. And not just us. Over time, I wish that you and I could make that of a pretty good alliance, Izuku Midoriya. But I have to test your mettle first. Within, the door is opening, showing that of a quite busty blonde, in that of the same blue jackets as those of Section 4, as this being Reishi's second in command, as she's quite young, almost looking to be in that of her early 20s, as this being Seiryu Ashima. Within, saying, "Captain, I have the list of applicants here." Within, saying, "Thank you, Lieutenant. I'll look over it myself." Offering that of the clipboard. Within, seeing that of pages up to that of 200 pages of applicants. Saying, "I'm more shocked, sir. I thought you already have that of various people to join us. For example, we have that of Yashiki and Miyabi already part of our squad. I thought for sure that the ones that we've already have and loyal to you and you alone would be enough." Saying, "True. However, times are changing, and it seems society is on that of a shift of a change. It's time for Section 4 to make that change as well. With the Public Hero Safety Commission and that of the Government Bureau now no longer basically coming for our throats like before in the past 3 years. It's time for us to finally make our moves as well. I won't be adding some people from us. I'll also be bringing in a few pro heroes to help us out too. And seeing that one of those people who I was wanting is on this list as well, seems like we may be right on schedule." As that of Reishi adjusts his glasses, Asari can help but basically have that of a sweat drop saying, "Of course, sir." As the Blue King continues to look over the applicants, he still can't but think, Izuku Midoriya, I was wanting to fight against your grandfather all those years ago. But now, maybe you will be the rival I look forward of crushing. See if you can live up to what your grandfather, the Red King of Obliteration, is capable of. Currently in out of Tokyo, the former Homra resident hideout was originally burned down due to the villains, and especially those who were tied to the very symbol of fear did. But now they have that of a new place due to the revenue that they've gained and certain people wanting to help out as well in honor of that of the third king of the Red Clan, now located in Tokyo. But it's not as fancy or as big as it was before. Just basically a small bar in between that of the central streets of Tokyo in the Shibuya district. Within, Izuku basically cleaning up his hands and his gloves. Within thinking, 3 years. I've been preparing for this for 3 years, and I'm still not completely used to this stuff yet. As Izuku turns off the sink, looking at his reflection, as he wanted to be that of a mirror of his grandfather, the man he used to idolize outside of All Might, the man who was a symbol of strength and power. But now he just feels like he may be just nothing but a carbon copy. Worst part is, a lot of people have told him that he looks like a copy of his grandfather, that he needs to find his own path, his own way of doing things. But it's still too early to say. Well, then, somebody knocking on the door saying, "Hey, Izuku, you good in there?" As it being Caesar saying, yeah, good, just washing my hands and finishing up. After that, putting on his gloves again, before exiting out of the bathroom, seeing everybody else in that of booths or cheers themselves, with also them cleaning up that of their weapons or other things too. With Izumo still doing his thing as the bartender he is, cleaning a few glasses here and there. Within, soon, Izuku also heading to that of the bar while looking over the files, saying, I'll make a copy of this and give it to that of the police, anonymously, of course. Within, Jin removing that of his mask, showing that of his spiky blonde hair, and also his somewhat, pretty old face, then saying, I had to ask, boss, why didn't you just allow me to give the papers to one of the victims? I mean, wouldn't that sound a lot more better? Saying, true, it would have. But think about it. There are still some corrupt-ass villain heroes in out of the system, especially working with the police as well. If I gave them to that, who knows what would happen. So, I think it's best if I give it to that of the police anonymously. It won't leak back to us, and it wouldn't be basically tossed in the trash or put to the side. More lives would be saved this way. Within, Yada saying, you worry too much, boss. But I think I get where you're coming from. Saying, thanks, Yata. Any rate, it's starting to get late, and I still got school tomorrow, so, and not just me. Within, looking at that of Caesar, who was about to drink. Within, glaring at her, saying, seriously? Do we really have to go back to school? Summer vacation's over, and it's now time for us to get back to it. I know you don't want to go back, but to be honest, I think it's better we take care of things now. Show that we're still teenagers, and to make sure that the heroes and villains alongside the police don't get suspicious of us. The rumors of the Red King making a return is starting to show. I want to basically prove it that the Red King is here to stay once the year finally comes to an end. Hearing all this, all of them couldn't help but agree with that of their king. Within, soon, Scarlet saying, oh yeah, that reminds me. What about, Varys' little brother? Within, hearing that, saying, oh right. Honestly, it's best we tell the truth about what his brother's been doing. If he gets angry and tries to kill us, then we'll beat him as well. And if he wants to die and be with his brother, let him. Or if he wants to make amends and do what's right, let him join the clan. Then everybody looking at Izuku. But then Suzuya getting out of the bathroom. However, not wearing the same clothes as before. Basically just wearing that of underwear and bra, but looks like that of work clothes, underwear and bra. Within, Yata basically seeing this closes his eyes and blushing in embarrassment and shyness. Jin seeing this and basically closing his eyes but peeking a little bit through his hands. And Izumo taking off his sunglasses and closing and basically turning away aside while still cleaning that of one of the bar glasses. As for Izuku, he's blushing like hell while also closing his eyes too, saying, Suzuka, if you're gonna take a break and clean up your clothes, at least go upstairs. Why? I don't see the problem. With Caesar also commenting saying, true, let the girl do what she wants. With Caesar having a big old smile on her face. Within, Scarlet couldn't help but sigh, saying, I'll take care of this. Within, soon, Suzuya, before being pushed away by that of Scarlet, saying, if you're going to take him in like you did me, you should probably do it in person. To no one who killed his brother. While continuing being pushed back, Izuku hears what she says, and then saying, well, unlike that versus little brother, you were basically going on a killing rampage because you felt like you were being on alone. I took you in because you needed a place where you could belong. Simple as that. So, but then saying, so you should probably do the same. Wouldn't hurt and try, just like you did with me. With then hearing that, soon, Izuku saying, guess you're right. Even if he wants to kill me, I should at least try and invite versus little brother to the clan. Within, hearing that of footsteps coming down the stairs. Within, soon seeing that of a massive guy with that of massive arms, wearing a tank top, a sweatshirt basically wrapped around that of his waist, baggy green pants, and having that of having a pretty muscular appearance with that of slick back brown hair that's spiked up to the upwards. Within saying, hey, boss, you took care of the job? Why didn't you take me along? Within, soon, Izuku saying, oh, hey, Rappa. Within, heading over to that of his boss and on his knees saying, come on, I wanted to knock some heads around too. Why didn't you ask me to take along? Within, seeing that Suzuya is finally upstairs, within, sighing out of relief, as Yagata saying, you dumb motherfucker, it's because you and Rumi were doing underground fight tournaments again. No shit. Within, Suit hearing that, say, oh, right, totally forgot. Looking like a kid caught in the candy jar, he soon basically looks back up at Izuku, before then saying, Yagata's right. Rappa, I told you and Rumi to stop doing that shit. Last time I checked, because of that, Rumi got expelled from that of her high school, and now she's need to look for a new one, and which could be a problem because it could also interfere in that of our job and our duties as Homra. You're lucky that we were able to get you out of handcuffs and back to us. That shit isn't going to work twice. Within, hearing this, saying, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, boss. But you at least gotta give me another chance. I want to knock some heads. Let me do something to be forgiven. Come on. I don't want to be sit on the sidelines anymore. Looking like that of a kicked puppy and even trying to give that of puppy dog eyes. Even it's not really working, but for Izuku, too much of a softie before saying, okay, fine, I'll give you one chance. I hear that we're getting some newbies joining Homra. If you could train them alongside Izumo and Yagata, then I'll let things go. Within, saying, really? But no killing them, got it? Saying, yeah, you got it, boss. As he gets off a salute, before then saying, I'll promise you, I won't let you down. Before then, rushing back upstairs, Caesar couldn't help but laugh, saying, I really love that guy. He's so funny. Within, Arrow saying, he's more of an annoyance. Young master, do you think it's time for us to, saying, right, I better get back home. Come on, Caesar, saying, right, yeah. Hope you guys have a good night. Within, all of them saying, good luck with school tomorrow. Izuku. Within, Izuku waves back before heading out in the night. And there, well, turns out Caesar ended up making her own motorcycle, and Izuku rides on it quite a bit with her. As for Arrow, she also has her own skateboard, and soon they head out, heading straight for Masafu. However, every time Izuku rides on the back of Caesar's bike with her, she always tries to make sure that Izuku holds tightly onto her, mainly as a way to make sure that he is, well, attracts her after all. And every time when she makes him feel like he needs to hang on to her tightly, it's in her eyes, it's a win. Arriving in front of his apartment building and getting off that of Caesar's bike, then saying, "Thanks for the ride, Caesar. Appreciate it." Saying, "Oh yeah, I enjoy you riding with me." But then Izuku saying, "Is that so?" Saying, "Yeah, just doing my thing for my king." But then Izuku saying, "Are you really going to come back to school tomorrow?" As Caesar looks completely shocked, saying, "Do I really need to?" Saying, "Caesar, we talked about this." Saying, yeah, I know. Just, don't you think your duties to Homra is more important than going to school? It's going to school that's basically keeping our activities as me being the leader of Homra and the Red King a secret. Outside of Section 4, I want to make sure that we don't have to deal with the heroes too much. In the end, I'm surprised the heroes haven't done anything to basically attack us, given that some of the people we save and some of the people we take out." But then, Izuku saying, "That's the reason why. We need to at least try and make it seem like we're not a part of this." But then, Sakiko basically comes up saying, "Exactly. No longer wearing her getup, she's currently wearing that of casual clothes. A long black and red skirt with that of a sleeveless top turtleneck. And let's just say, outside of the white-clad uniform, it basically shows quite a bit of her curves for a girl now in high school." Then Caesar couldn't help but narrow her eyes at that of Psycho, but then saying, "I still don't like the fact that you're staying with the boss," saying, "It is my duty as one who once took the promise of our previous king to protect his grandson, our current king. I will carry out this duty to the very end." And as she does this, she soon basically grabs onto that of Izuku's arm, and given that Izuku is now taller than her, it makes Izuku quite blush given, where his arm is right now. But then she huffing saying, yeah, whatever. As for me going back to school, I'll be there, and you better be up early so I can take you. Hearing this, Izuku saying, "Guess I can't get away from you as my personal driver," saying, No, you cannot." As she gives off a cheeky smile before hitting the throttle and driving off in the night. With that, Izuku saying, "Well, that takes care of that. Come on, Sai-chan." Mom's probably worried, saying, "Of course, my king." Heading upstairs into that of Izuku's home and apartment building. The very next day, Izuku is already getting ready to head back to Aldera Junior High, wearing the uniform and everything, and getting on a ride with that of Caesar, of course. As for Psycho, she is currently going to that of a high school that's at least out of 2 blocks away from that of Aldera, to make sure that she'll be able to walk home back with Izuku as well. Against that, Caesar is basically driving him to school. It's basically pointless to wait up. Arriving at that of the generic junior high school, and Caesar basically putting away that of her bike, making sure that nobody touches it, as they basically walk in with a crowd of students. However, due to Izuku being a lot more taller than he would have in canon, basically being that of 5'9" instead of 5'5", and his appearance looking quite more delinquent looking. Even though Izuku is quirkless, he has grown at least somewhat of a fan following of basically people who actually like him. It's mainly the majority of a few girls though. However, girls are not as confident to basically ask Izuku out, mainly due to Caesar though. Arriving at the school gate and heading into that of class, but then Izuku saying, "Catch you later, Caesar," saying, "Yeah, see you, Izuku." As then, looking at that of her right arm, still remembering the fact that it's a prosthetic right arm, thinking, it's my fault for bringing her in too soon. I should have waited. But then, shaking his head as he slides the door open, with everybody noticing Izuku, as a few girls basically couldn't help but look at him in that of, well, awe, especially a certain girl with that of silver hair, blushing. However, many of the guys basically look at him with disgust, especially due to that of his quirklessness. But then, taking a seat, as he couldn't help but bring out one of his hero notebooks. And of course, Izuku still idolizes and looks up to heroes. Within soon, as he was looking over that of a few other pros over his phone, that's when he pulls his phone back in his pocket and closes his book, before then saying, "Can I help you, Kachan?" Within saying, "Seriously? You're really trying to keep up this stupid act of trying to be a pro," saying, just looking over some pros, nothing else. Shouldn't even matter to you. But then, soon, hearing this, a few of the classmates saying, "Hey, look at this, Bakugo. Looks like Midoriya's trying to think he's better than you again," saying, "Yeah, maybe you should teach him a lesson." But then, hearing basically everybody telling Bakugo what he should do, saying, "Shut the hell up, you stupid extras. I'll do what I want to Deku, what I feel like it." But then, looking at that of Izuku with that of a bored look on his face, saying, "And maybe some of these extras have a point." But then, Izuku rolling his eyes saying, "Ooh, how threatening." As Bakugo is basically crackling explosions in the palm of his hands, ready about to hit Izuku with one of his explosions. But then, a girl basically stands up, as she's quite taller, as even taller than Izuku and Bakugo combined, saying, "Bakugo, you shouldn't use your quirk in class." Within, everybody is shocked. Within, even the girl saying, "Oh crap, I shouldn't have said that." Within, saying, "You want to say that again, you tall extra?" Within, saying, "I just saying that you shouldn't use your quirk in class. It's not." Within, as Bakugo was about to attack her instead, that's when Izuku grabbed Bakugo by that of his wrist, before then bringing it down to that of the floor. But then saying, "I think you should quit it right here and now, Kachan. I thought lesser peons and extras like us aren't even worth it." Within, soon hearing this, saying, "Because you're not," grabbing his wrist before huffing off to that of his seat. Within, looking back at that of the girl with the silver hair, and she couldn't help but basically turn away and blushing. Within, Izuku couldn't help but raise an eyebrow, thinking, nobody's really defended me in all these months. What was her name again? Within, remembering thinking, oh yeah, her name, Isane Kotetsu. Tallest girl in the entire school. Is that due to her quirk? Who could say? But she tried to defend me, which is a first. Maybe I should ask. Within, the teacher coming in saying, all right, students, please all calm down. It's time for that morning roll call and homeroom class to begin. After that's when the bell soon rings. But then, Izuku thinking, hope Caesar made sure not to get herself in some trouble too. Oh, who am I kidding? She most definitely already did. As it's another day for the Red King of Homra. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how do you guys like this chapter? Honestly, this is kind of one of my favorite chapters doing anyway. And for the next few chapters, I will tell you this. Several members from MHA and other anime and games will be joining that of Izuku's clan. And be building up to that of main canon as well. So I'm letting you guys know this now. A few villains that were basically joined the League of Villains will basically be joining Homra. Twice as one of them. I feel like Izuku, before he basically went crazy, would take in that of Twice after all. Since his splitting would have happened possibly a year or two before canon started. Same also goes for Rappa as well. Also, I figured some of you may have asked in that of, well, last chapter, why is Rumi aged down? And that is because I wanted Rumi to age down, because technically, in that of MHA, she's 10 years older than Izuku. In this, she's at least that of 5 years older than Izuku. So yeah, I won't say that there's no specific reason, I just did it because I thought it was kind of interesting, that's all. So yeah. As for Izuku's approach to being that of the Red King, well, let's just say he wants to be a lot more merciful, but is not afraid to become quite, well, merciless to his enemies and those who stand in the way of Homra. So yeah. Plus, he is still Izuku Midoriya. He still gets nervous around that of girls, of course. At least around that of girls he barely knows. Speaking of girls, yeah, Izuku will have at least a small harem, I will say that. But a select few of girls within Homra though. No one outside of it. So just telling you guys this now. At any rate, also, I'll probably show that of the members who will be part of Izuku's, well, team. Part of Izuku's clan after all. At least the major and important members though. And I'll make one on a separate list of side characters who are part of the clan. So look out for that, guys. At any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All links featured below if I'm not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, don't be well. Take care.